Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. Just want to take a quick moment, go over some of the more recent circulating news, and I wanted to start off with the interview that took place with Brad Garlinghouse on CNN. And of course, if you haven't seen that, basically Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of Ripple, had an interview with Julie Chatterley on CNN yesterday or the day before, depending on when it was recorded. And of course, it was aired on September 12th. It was supposed to air on September 11th, but of course, due to showing respect for that day, it was postponed until yesterday, September 12th. So nonetheless, guys, the interview did take place. And of course, it was a very interesting interview. It's about 7.5 minutes long. That particular video is now scattered all over Twitter. So if you really want to check it out, I would highly suggest going on Twitter. I'll see if I can leave a link in the description for you guys. But nonetheless, guys, it was a very interesting interview. A lot of people came out and said at first that it was kind of a lackluster interview. Brad Garlinghouse didn't really say much that we didn't already know, which is very true. But at the same time, I think he was really kind of driving the point home that there is a lot of success happening for Ripple and XRP especially, and what they're trying to do as a business front for getting XRP the exposure it needs. Also, the topic of XRP being dumped on the entire ecosystem with those escrowed wallets, that was a big talking point as well, because if you have already been part at least paying attention to the news, there was a reference of Crypto BitLord basically talking about how he was going to fork XRP because he was upset that the Ripple owners and of course the CEO of Ripple were dumping XRP on the entire ecosystem with those escrowed wallets. So that was definitely cleared up in this interview. And if you're unfamiliar with Crypto BitLord and what he was trying to go for, he is definitely someone that's part of the Twitter community when it comes to cryptocurrency. He's very well known. I think he has 100,000 plus followers, people that really look up to him when it comes to cryptocurrency news and information. And it has been rumored also that Crypto BitLord sold his account to the highest bidder almost a year ago. Who knows exactly what took place, but I do know that he has mentioned publicly he wanted to fork XRP because of the so-called quote-unquote dumping of XRP on the ecosystem. Well, Brad Garlinghouse most certainly came out and stated that that's not what they're actually doing. He did kind of explain a little bit, and not necessarily in detail, but the fact that they do have those escrowed wallets of the remaining XRP that they're holding. They put it away, they locked it away, and this is something that's released at the beginning of each month. There's only a certain amount released each month, so they have an algorithmic type of event taking place with these escrowed wallets. And of course, that's something that they built in so that it would secure that XRP and then show everybody that it is being released in timely fashions for the sake of trying to build the ecosystem for Ripple and XRP. So with that being out of the way there, guys, at least we got reference from Brad Garlinghouse that obviously that is absolutely something that they don't want to do. It's not even in the company's best interest to dump on the entire market, because they could literally take all of those XRP if they wanted to and dump them. It does belong to individuals within the Ripple company. It doesn't belong to Ripple, but it definitely belongs to those members of Ripple, the company. So essentially, it's like you and I owning our own XRP. We could simply sell it and liquidate our XRP right now because it is ours, and cash out. And that's exactly what they can do. But again, he had specified as a company for Ripple, it is not even in their best interest to do so. That is the reason why there are those escrowed wallets of XRP locked away, and again, timely released to the public. And if none of it gets used, it actually gets put back into a new escrowed wallet at the end of the line. So again, it's all part of an algorithmic lockup. So keep that in mind, guys, because Brad Garlinghouse definitely stated that we are clearly interested in a healthy, successful XRP ecosystem, and they would never do that when it comes to, again, dumping XRP on the market. So I think that we can all rest assured here, guys, that Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple, the company, they are looking to grow this ecosystem in the benefit for Ripple, the company, and for the benefit of the XRP digital asset, which in turn benefits all of us that are early adopters. So something to keep in mind, guys. And again, guys, if you have not seen this interview, definitely watch it. If you would love to have a good breakdown of this and of course get some information on kind of like the body language of Brad Garlinghouse, then might I suggest you all take a look at To The Lifeboats, who is also Sam I Am, and check out this video right here. It says Brad's verbal versus nonverbal communication. It's actually a very good breakdown. It's about 26 minutes long. Well worth your time to kind of get a feel for again, a decent decent breakdown of what was happening in the interview, getting some information about the body language between Brad Garlinghouse and Julie Chatterley. Just some information there that might have been missed had you just simply watched the 7.5-minute version and just kind of got the quick and skinny of the information. But again, this is just simply a good breakdown done by Sam I Am. So go check out his page, To the Lifeboat. It's very, very informative. This guy has a lot of information when it comes to his videos and what he releases about Ripple and XRP. So check out any and all of his videos for sure, but definitely check out that Brad's verbal versus nonverbal communication. Very good breakdown. And thanks again, Sam I Am, for that breakdown, bud. So next on the list here when it comes to news, we have France calling for the EU crypto rulings and the creation of a public digital currency. Now, of course, this is an article coming from the Block Crypto, and I will say, guys, this is just simply another part of the pattern that we're seeing with a lot of these countries that are looking for some sort of regulation and clarity for cryptocurrency so they could possibly have their own version of a digital currency created for their country. And of course, we just recently heard about that with China, with creating the central bank digital currency, or at least working on that. And of course developing this. And I think that France is now taking that kind of example there and calling to the European Union to have some sort of at least cryptocurrency ruling take place, and of course now the focus on a digital currency for their country. What we can see in the article here is that the French government has called for cryptocurrency rules on the European Union level, as well as the creation of a public digital currency. Of course, it goes further to state that a common framework on cryptocurrencies is needed for the 28 EU countries, said France's Minister of the Economies in France, Bruno Le Maire, at a meeting of EU finance ministers in Finland. That was a lot to say. Now, what we can see again is that they're comparing what they're looking at for some sort of clarity and, of course, creation of a public digital currency to that of what the Central Bank of China has been doing, of course, creating their central bank digital currency. There, of course, China is definitely working on something. They're researching and developing this CBDC, the central bank digital currency. So, again, I think France saw this and as an example, if you will, and said, hey, EU, we need our own digital currency. We also need cryptocurrency ruling so that this can actually start taking place. So it is very likely, guys, with the implementation of Christine Lagarde, who was part of the IMF, now becoming part of the European Central Bank, we might start seeing something being developed for France and any of those other countries, like it's specified here. Again, 28 EU countries that quite possibly might want to look at digital currencies and their country's version of a cryptocurrency. That might be something that could be created. Again, having Christine Lagarde hopping into the European Central Bank, taking the lead as the president. And of course, we definitely know a lot about Christine Lagarde, who, again, was part of the IMF. She's had major close connections with Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse, and of course, a lot of the main central banks on the planet. So keep all that in mind, guys. You're starting to see some things taking place here. This is the development, I would say, seeing people put into positions of power the right way, people that are crypto friendly, and again, positions of power like Christine Lagarde. These are things that could actually come to fruition when it comes to seeing France having their own public digital currency. So guys, I know that this right here is a lot to take in when it comes to these countries all trying to have their own developed digital currency, but I think this is absolutely the way that things are going to be going in the next 5 to 10 years. You're going to start seeing a lot more countries stating, hey, we have our own digital currency now, and we can actually trade back and forth between that or run it alongside of trading against other digital types of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, you name it. And I think at this point in time, just as well, we're going to start seeing a lot more countries coming to the public stating, guess what? We've been researching and developing on this particular ecosystem as well. We've got fintech that's on our side, whether it's, some off-brand company or a company like Ripple that's established as much as Ripple is. So I don't want to make speculation on who's going to be the one of those companies that helps with the public digital currency being created for France, but when the EU is being involved, and again you have Christine Lagarde as part of the European Central Bank, that's definitely a good sign for those digital assets such as XRP, because of how closely related Christine Lagarde has gotten herself with, again, the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and then bringing Ripple into the picture and the limelight when it comes to talking to major banks and financial institutions on a global scale. Man, it's really a big sign here that Ripple is doing what they need to expand themselves out. So Ripple might have something to do with this right here later on down the road, but again, that's just my speculation. You have to let me know what you find out. And of course, there's a lot more that we can always deep dive on this right here to kind of find some more details about. So let me know what you guys find out on this right here. A couple of things I want to go over as well. Next, I wanted to take a quick moment and highlight this article from Yahoo Finance, where we see that the U.S. Treasury is looking to crypto as being this next frontier on the war on terror. Now, really, the article is kind of in depth. It talks about how cryptocurrencies could absolutely be a beneficial aspect to fighting these different types of crimes. Again, war on terror. I would even imagine war on drugs, trafficking, if you will, things of that nature. And the reason why is because there's a substantial amount of transparency when it comes to digital currencies versus that of fiat currencies. And that's definitely going to be one of those emphases. The article goes in, again, to more detail about this. I didn't want to really kind of go too much into that because I think the title alone says it all. Really, the U.S. Treasury looking at cryptocurrencies, again, as this quote-unquote next frontier in the war on terror is something that I would imagine is going to grow just simply, again, because of the transparency within the cryptocurrency, the way you can actually track down all the transactions happening for cryptocurrencies. It's really going to make it hard for criminals to get away with that in a very nefarious method, because of the fact that it is so transparent by comparison to, again, fiat currencies. So this right here could be right alongside of the blockchain and distributed ledger technology. This could be something that actually is being considered the next frontier to fight those different types of nefarious wars on terror and wars on drugs and war on trafficking, things of that nature. So you have to take a quick look at this, guys. It is a very interesting read. And again, it does give a little bit more of a breakdown, but you can easily see how this right here could benefit different types of wars when it comes to, again, fighting these nefarious crimes. So let me know what you guys think about this here. One last thing I want to go over as well. Now, I was going to save this for a video on its own, and I still might even do that, but really, guys, it's very interesting to see that, President Trump has been very outspoken about his position on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies he's not a fan of. Now we got a Bitcoinist.com talking about how Trump will ban Bitcoin when the price reaches $100,000. Now, whether or not this is true, it's very, very interesting to read in here and actually see that, for one, we have President Trump talking about the fact that he has, not been a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies out there, but now to say that we would allow for Bitcoin to at least get to $100,000 before it then becomes a total ban in the United States really should say a lot for everybody out there that's involved in cryptocurrencies. To me, it just seems like, at least the president is willing to allow a certain amount of money to be dumped into Bitcoin alone before then it becomes banned, which kind of shows me that there's a likelihood once it hits $100,000, there's just going to be a big removal of a lot of that wealth and capital from Bitcoin, going from there to possibly other altcoins and digital assets that might be more favored by the president and, of course, his administration. And if you have any inclination of what's been taking place with Trump's administration and Ripple the company, if you have any understanding of what has been going on with Ripple and these big name bankers, and again, Christine Lagarde, you definitely know that the Trump administration is fully aware of what Ripple is capable of doing. And of course, they haven't said anything negative about Ripple or even XRP, just the fact that Trump is not a big fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So who knows exactly how this is going to spread out. Again, a lot of things are speculation and rumor at this point in time between the Trump administration and what's been taking place with their understanding of Ripple. But nonetheless, guys, the fact that at least President Trump would be willing to see Bitcoin hit $100,000 before it then becomes banned in the United States should say a lot when it comes to, again, how he feels about Bitcoin, but also at the same time how he feels about a growing capital of money that could be pulled out before it becomes banned. So I don't know. There's a lot of speculation when it comes to this, guys. Like I said, this could be done in its own little video alone, and I still might do that. But I just thought it was a very interesting read here, and of course, just something to kind of take away when it comes to presidents of countries and of course diplomats of countries looking at cryptocurrencies, whether it's negative or positive. You have to let me know what you think about this, guys. Do you think that this would be something that, you know, President Trump would actually go through and actually enforce with this ban of watching Bitcoin go all the way up to $100,000 before then it becomes banned? This should also say something else too. Kind of makes me feel like we might actually see Bitcoin in some near future hit $100,000, because at least, you know, the president is saying we'd be willing to see it hit that high mark before it becomes banned. That's just a very interesting number there, guys. And I definitely think that we are seeing, at least from this kind of speculation here, and of course what we're gathering from this kind of information, that, you know, really anything can happen with Bitcoin in the United States. Anything can happen with these cryptocurrencies that are not favored by the president in the United States. And if we do start seeing a lot of regulations and, you know, being banned from the United States when it comes to cryptocurrencies that are not favored, well, you have to take that with a grain of salt, and of course hopefully invest into those cryptocurrencies that are favored by not only the president but of course big businesses in the United States as well. So again, guys, a very interesting read here. I just felt that it was very timely when it comes to seeing the president being very outspoken about Bitcoin and of course cryptocurrencies, and now we're seeing this right here again, him stating that basically it just seems like he's saying we would allow this to get to $100,000 before we ban it, which means, are we going to see this Bitcoin get to $100,000 before it actually does get banned? Because if that is the case, then that means we should be seeing a trajectory within the near future of Bitcoin starting that move, going to $100,000. And if you're invested now, guys, that's almost a 10-time increase in earnings. You could literally take advantage of that before it gets banned, and then remove yourself and put yourself into some sort of digital asset like XRP that could possibly be more favored in this country here, the United States. So again, just a lot to think about when it comes to this information here. And I know I'm kind of making my own speculation, and you can do the same thing. Please leave that in the comment section just as well. But just interesting, just very, very interesting. Definitely let me know what you guys think about this information, guys. And if you want me to do a video more specifically on any type of topic within this, you know, type of information, you know, cryptocurrencies, XRP, more specifically, let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to do that as well. Outside of that, guys, definitely thank you so much for watching these videos and taking the time to kind of leave me comments about what I'm doing here, or what you know about with the XRP community and the XRP digital asset and Ripple, the company. There's a substantial amount of information out there, and it's hard to keep up with all of it, you know, on this channel here. So definitely let me know what you guys think. If you want to follow me on Twitter, there's an easier way for you to kind of, you know, talk to me that way, or at least get reference of news a little bit faster than in a video format like on YouTube. So definitely follow me there on Twitter at crypto_ginger. And of course, guys, if you are new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you like what you see, hit that notification so you can be notified of future videos. And once again, thank you for watching, guys. Hope you have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.